Okay friends, so today I'm going to take you with me on my journey with DTF printing. I've spoken a lot about it. You guys, if you watched my video, if you came over to my channel because you saw the video about what happened, the nightmare story I had of ordering my DTF printer off Alibaba. It's not so much Alibaba, you guys. It's really not. It all has to do with the manufacturer of the products, because I do order a lot of like blanks from overseas, and everybody I know that's in this type of business does the same thing. And the vendors that you might see on Etsy and places like that, they're importing those items from overseas and marking them up. So really, you're saving yourself money if you order overseas, honestly. But totally up to you. Some people aren't comfortable in doing that, so they pay a premium cost. So they're willing to pay a premium cost instead of just ordering it overseas. So you do have to be careful on vendors. You do have to be careful on who you're ordering from. You really have to do your homework. I did not do my homework initially when I bought that last printer. This time I did. I've spent months researching. I've been in support groups. I have spoken even to the guy that we would call the head of DTF, like one of the first people that introduced it in the United States. So I am in touch with lots of like pros, we'll put it that way. And they had recommendations. I couldn't afford the printers that were in the United States. And after talking to lots of people in this field, people that sell these printers for a living, people that do this, like absolutely do this every single day for a living, bottom line, they all come from overseas. Really, it's just you're paying for the customer service of it is all you're paying for. And some of those companies, I mean, honestly, I'm still not going to stress this enough. You need to do your homework. So I took a chance. Yes, I invested the money I had saved up for quite a while, and I'm taking a chance. I'm taking you guys along with me. I'm hoping all goes well. Customer service has been outstanding so far. That is why I went with this brand. There were two other brands that I debated about going with that I know some of the bigger printer people in this industry go with and recommend. But I've also heard some negative stuff about some of the customer service and issues people have had. So it's all hit and miss. I do know, you know, I'm going to be transparent with you guys 100%. I told the company I bought from that I would gladly refer people to them as long as I have a reason to. So like I said, I'm here to give you transparency, honesty, because I'm not gaining anything from it other than hopefully helping somebody else out that is considering it too. And I also want to share with you guys how much goes into this whole experience. It is not just a quick turn on thing, order and good to go. It is not like that. As I've witnessed lots of friends going through the struggles of DTF printing, no matter the brand, there is always going to be some sort of an issue with it. It's just learning the process, learning the tips, the tricks, the film, the ink, all of it plays a part in it. So you guys, I am not an expert. I've just gotten lots of great advice, and I'm going to take you with me, guys. So let's stay tuned. Let's get going. This video is going to be more focused on me opening, installing the printer, doing all that kind of stuff, so that way I can show you guys kind of what goes into it. But there'll be many videos on tutorials as far as setting up the software, as far as setting up how to do different things, print, stuff like that. So let's get going, guys. So right now what they're doing is they are logging into my computer with the software, and they are going to go in and change things. So I am just going to sit here while they are doing this with their remote stuff I had to give them access to, because I guess they're going to communicate with me with my phone, with the app, with my remote software on the computer, and coordinate it with the printer. Okay, I'm going to insert my software. The software that comes with this is Maintop. I'm just going to put the dongle in the back. Okay, like this. Turn on the power. Okay, you guys, so you'll see a lot of movement in this video because it was literally 7.5 hours of putting this together from start to finish. And you are on their overseas time. You know, there's a 12-hour difference for us. So throughout this video, I'm just like speeding it along as fast as I can. I've cut out like a majority of the video, obviously, because you're communicating through a phone. You have to show them so they can see you. You're on a video call. So it would be really helpful if you ever set up a printer overseas with their support, which their support is outstanding. I will say that this specific company had outstanding support. I've heard otherwise with other people, so with other brands. But what we did was they have to see all of the different things. They have to make sure that things are level, that things are accurate, that you're putting things on the right way, that things are operating the right way. They have to go through so many different diagnostics with this. And you'll see in a little bit, we did run into an issue. So you guys, usually it takes about 4 hours to set up. There is a lot of stuff that has to be done because you're not to touch the print head. You're not to touch the cables. You're not to touch anything really other than putting your ink bottles on the top there, and you're supposed to stick your roller on ahead of time. That's really all you're supposed to do other than unboxing and doing all of that, because they have to verify all of this. That way it's under warranty. So that's what we're doing here. You'll see me unscrewing little parts because they come screwed together with, to keep them in place, keep different pieces in place during shipping. They screw things in there so that way it keeps them in place instead of jarring around. So that's what I'm doing. I was removing all these little screws, and then so we are just continuing to follow along with all of this. That's really it. I run back and forth a lot. I had to go get backup. I had to have my husband help me because it is really hard to hold the phone and screw things together and go and get the other parts that you have to put on this printer, and to because you have to see what they're telling you to do. Most of it, they have to see what you're doing to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in this process and not messing things up. So a lot of this video is back and forth of doing those things. And so you have to also tape these kind of together, cable tie them. They come taped, so you have to match them up the right way when we're doing the cables here to make sure they're hooking through the right way. And you're dealing with the printer head, and you don't want to mess that up because that printer head right there, at least in my case, that's a $1,200 printer head, each of them. So that is something also, if you intend on buying a printer, you want to save up money for, so you have a backup, because I know some people get faulty ones. Some people, get liquid on there. It's just all kinds of issues. And there's no warranty with those, with print heads. I think the only company that I know of that covers a warranty on them for 1 year is like DTF Superstore with a Mamaki. And that's a totally different printer. So I would love to have it, but it's a totally different printer, and that's for another day. But I think they're the only ones that offer like even a warranty, because print heads are faulty. And you can get just different issues with them. So you got to be very careful. So I had him helping me with this because I did not want to risk messing that up. And you have to hold the phone too and show him everything you're doing and lining up and matching them. And then you have to cable tie them off so that way they're going in the correct part. So it's a lot of stuff to do. I thought it was going to be more computer type stuff for setup, like sitting at my computer doing a lot of things with them, running things through the system. But that is not what this setup was. This setup was totally different than I anticipated it to be. And it was very exhausting. And especially in a little bit, when you see, we'll run into a major issue that we were able to resolve. But that is what extended most of my setup time. So that's another thing. I would tell you to have someone with you to help you, even if they're not down there the whole time or wherever you're at setting up. I would say to drink lots of caffeine, because I think we started this at 9, actually got on with them 8:30. I didn't get off with them till almost 4 a.m. So it was very exhausting. And then I just didn't know what I was supposed to do with the printer the next day because it was such a new thing to me. But like I said, this just took a lot of effort. So here we are just making sure that it's like moving back and forth without like any sort of issue. Like I said, they have to check everything, and then you have to double secure those, which I was so afraid of cable time. I was so afraid it would mess them up or break them, but they are super flexible, and that's actually what they suggested you doing. At this point, we finally turned the printer on because we're done messing with the print head. And at that, he sent a print through because he hadn't had my stuff set up yet, and he wanted to see if it was printing. So it was printing, but if you see that, the margin is set way too far over. We had to fix that later on. But it came out printing at first. That line and that ink in that film there, Like that's just smudged. That film was just a mess. But anyway, so here we are setting up the shaker unit. This was a nightmare. Also, you guys, yes, that is laundry back there. This room is massive. So I have like workout equipment in like a half of this room. And then I have a washing machine in the other. And then I've got all my ventilation, all my stuff hooked up. So because this wouldn't fit into my office where I had originally planned for it to go. Anyway, here we are setting the shaker up. This is the one that we had the issue with. I had a lot of issues with the shaker and figuring it out. I will share another video to help those that struggle with getting their prints cured properly, that struggle with any issues related to the whole printing process, because I've learned so much. So anyway, you guys, here we are, and this thing would not heat up. If you can see that where I've lifted that up, that should be red. It should be heating up, but the heat is not changing. The light is coming on, the heat is not changing. So basically, all of those cords in there, which there are tons of cords in there. I had to get Ryan for this again because he had already like gone back upstairs. These cords were wired the wrong way. So we had to go and rewire the shaker unit, basically. Power it down, rewire it, get in there and hook them the different way and connect them, because I don't know why, but like, you know, there are always issues with things. So in this point, that's what happened. And it took quite a while to get all this done and to make sure, I mean, they were very consistent and thorough with making sure that it was running properly, because it's a scary thing. Also, this shaker unit, overseas, their power supply is totally different than ours. And some will ship 120 volts, some will ship 220. They're not supposed to ship the 220, but obviously they do because the United States manufacturers have them. My electricity, I got the 120, or I got the 110 thinking that's what I should get. But no matter the shaker that you're getting, we had to change the cord, the main cord that comes overseas. The plug and the cord had to be changed on it because it is pulling so much amps through it that you have to change that, because other people that didn't change it had like a fire. So it's very hazardous. So you want to make sure that whatever you're getting, that you're checking that, because that had to be done before we could even set this up. So I was just giving that little like bit of information. But this went on for a while. We had to change this, like I said, because they had to calculate what was going on, what was wrong. Ryan had to help. So this is sometime later, and finally got it going, finally got it working, finally got it like all going together. But honestly, we didn't run the prints through to test this after, you know what I mean? Like we didn't send the prints all the way through. So you're kind of like on your own with that, making sure it all works, that it's all in there. Finally, last but not least, this is like, 3 a.m. at this point. We are getting on the computer and they are running through all of the different setups. My brain was mush at this point because they want to make sure you're, in a sense, that you know what you're doing, but not completely. So I made some notes on how to do the software, because with certain printers, you have to go through Maintop. You have to go, like, depends on what setup your software comes with. So I had to buy Photoshop. I had to go through Photoshop with Maintop, with Print EXP, which all printers, I believe, most of them do Print EXP. Some use CADLink, some use Maintop, some use, I can't even think of the other one that is very popular that everybody else uses. I eventually want to transition over to CADLink, but I know the color profile is different dependent upon the inks that you use. Once through, once it was set up and the margins and everything, and then we called it at night. So that was about 7 or 7.5 hours of setup, you guys.